In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Today is Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. And a big shout out to my beautiful daughter, Miranda Cofino. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Miranda. I'll be seeing her shortly. This show will end precisely on the hour because I'm jumping in the car to go to her house to celebrate her birthday with the family. But welcome to all of you that have already joined us in the chat. Please let us know where you're watching from. This is a show about Ask Us Anything. So Melissa's already put in there. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat. We're going to invite you up early to ask us questions. But before we do all that, we thought we'd introduce ourselves. And I want to check in on Melissa, see what's going on with you since our last show. How have you been? What's going on?
I have been hiding in plain sight. Hi, guys. I am resting, kind of, but not resting, if that makes sense. Motorcycle industry is on fire. Beautiful blue skies in the Pacific Northwest means lots of vroom vrooms in my parking lot these days. And then I also did a wedding event, Felipe, with one of my consulting clients that I'm helping market for. Got to meet a lot of brides, got to meet a lot of local people who do events and like hotels and, vendors for different wedding purposes. It was just great. And so lots of networking, lots of stuff in person, kind of on break from coffee chats. If you guys have been missing it, I am sorry, but it's coming back next week, right before Mother's Day. I'm excited about Mother's Day. I actually only have a 3-day work week at the motorcycle shop this week because I'm going to give myself a little bit of breathing room to just enjoy the weather myself. What about you?
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that and taking care of yourself because that is important. And we always talk about that. I've had a busy week, busy couple of weeks. I've just been running around. I've had some interviews that have gone on. One went very well. I'm waiting to hear. I also got the cookbook from Chasing Forehand, who we talk about a lot with his Transformation Kitchen nonprofit that he does. And I did a video of me cooking one of his recipes. And I know Melissa makes fun of all my cooking videos that you all see on YouTube because I have long hair and it didn't look good. But it was entertaining for people because, again, I'm not a chef by trade, which I said a lot during this cooking video. But it was really to promote Chasen's and his team's work, highlight Nick as the publisher, because Chasen's really going out there and making such a big impact on the world. I consider him almost like a mini Jose Andres, who's out there trying to just do what he can to make the world better and help people at a human level. So I am always a big fan of all his work. And if you want to check out his book and the video I did, go to my profile. But outside of that, I've been preparing for my daughter's birthday today, as I mentioned. And it's May, and May is a very busy month for us in our family. We got my daughter's birthday, we got Mother's Day, we got my sister's birthday, we got my mother's birthday, we got Memorial Day. You know, there's just so much that happens in May for us. I don't know how it is for you all, but May tends to be a very crazy month for us. But other than that, I'm excited about today's topic because I think today is going to be a great conversation. I'm putting the link into the chat right now as we speak so that y'all can join us on stage early. But before I go back to Melissa, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's already joined us. We are live, by the way, on LinkedIn, of course. We are live on YouTube. Thank you, Melanie Richards, for being there. And guess what, Melissa Houston? We're also live on Substack.
Substack. Hey, I'm over there. You should follow me too.
I do follow you.
No, not you, them.
Oh, okay. Oh,
we're talking to other people.
I'm like, I just followed you the other day. You know I followed you. But here's the thing. So let me tell you a little trick, though, about Substack that's really cool, and you'll see after the show. What Substack does whether you do a live from their live stream or you do a live from Restream to them, they provide you clips already pre-cut with the best kind of little sections. They have all the words up on the screen for you. They really do a great job of providing you like 7 to 8 pre-done clips ready to post kind of thing. And then they give you some other options. So, and that's for the free version.
That's Substack, not Restream, you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, so Restream lets you do it, but you got to put a lot of work into it and create the content. Substack breaks it down to content ready to post videos of clips of where you said something that was really powerful or relevant. Their AI is picking up on it and knowing where to clip it.
I like that. I do like that. Now, I do have to say StreamYard does the same thing, and it's so clean. So I know you're a Restream fan. I'm on StreamYard for my show. I love that feature, though, just being able to automatically have that stuff clipped. And there's some of those cues you can say, clip that, and then it will make sure we clip that section when you're on StreamYard. So a lot of fun tips, guys. This is one of those crazy shows that's going to get chaotic in the best of ways. Come ask questions. Come talk about your day. We're excited. Felipe, we should do introductions before we go too far.
We should. So before we go to Marcia, Melissa, please, why don't you start, ladies first? I'm being kind to my sister today. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I am Melissa Houston, cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And all that really means is I like to help people like you figure out what they want to do next. Sometimes that's in your business, sometimes that's in your life, sometimes that's just mindset stuff. But I've been working with organizations and humans for over 10 years now as Melissa Houston Coaching and Consulting. So go check out the website, Document, Then Act. Go check out YouTube. Go check out Substack. I'm kind of everywhere. If you look for Document, Then Act, you will definitely find me. But really glad to be here with Felipe. Also glad to be here on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Most mornings, guys, I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I do it once a year. I feel like I just kind of disappear for a few months while I rebuild.
It's Sunday morning.
I know, but my show's on Saturday morning, 6 a.m., and I do it most weeks is what I said. So if you guys want to come back this Saturday, I'll be live here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Okay, Felipe.
My bad. Sorry, I misunderstood you. All right. Well, thank you, Melissa. And definitely check out her YouTube. She has a great stuff. And her website, she really does have some amazing testimonials. And people have done really just speak to how good of a coach she is. So check her out. I know she's helped me out in my life. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I've been an HR executive for 25 years plus, and I've been a LinkedIn enthusiast for 18 plus years. Been passionate about giving back and helping people with their careers, through coaching, through helping them with the LinkedIn, or offering services through Cofino Consulting, where I can offer training, coaching, executive coaching, recruiting. But my passion really is being in the workplace and helping others, and engaging with employees and getting to know them. And that's why I do a lot on YouTube. I do a lot on LinkedIn, is because I want to be able to get back and share. And I store a lot of that on my YouTube page. So whether I'm doing careers, chaos, and coaching with Melissa, or I'm doing the workplace wellness hour with Sumana Jetty, or I'm doing the social Saturday chat with my team on Saturdays, it's all here on the YouTube page, where you can really get it on a playlist, hear it. It does categorize our show here as a podcast because we do not have video. It's audio only. But also, that's where you can check out the videos of me cooking the paella from the Transformation Kitchen, which I gotta say, a little shout out to any Latinos out there that cook paella. You know, it's a long process. This recipe made it quick, easy, and it was good. It really was. All right. As far as other than that, I do want to recognize for all the people that have joined us already and say thank you to Meryl Cass, who's always here to support us. William Rochelle, it's always great to see you, my friend. We have a LinkedIn user watching from Louisville, Kentucky, who I can't see who it is. Maybe someone else can. Amy Montgomery, thank you for joining us. We have Nampumelo. I hope I pronounced it right. Good evening. Thank you for coming. We are definitely going global today. It's great. I love it. David Pushkin, thank you for joining us from the UK on a Sunday morning. And Melanie Richards watching us on YouTube. Always appreciate you doing that. Lauren Sermon, who is just an amazing person, and I'm just so happy for her this week, is all I'm going to say. And Jason Forehand, I've talked about you enough. I can't say enough good things about you, my friend. And then we have Gregory Liverpool, who's here again from Canada, and is just a very passionate HR person who I can resonate with because I'm in HR. And then we have Joshua Lee, who's another podcaster and live streamer out there. Check him out. And Kevin Kelly, thank you for coming. Oh, and Leslie Flowers. Oh, and Kenny. All right, well, we got full house here, Melissa, so I'm excited to get started here. One thing I do want to say for anyone who is that, I guess the best is being that sci-fi nerd, that sci-fi geek, that proud sci-fi, what do you call it? Oh, I'm trying to fix this stupid lettering here. I apologize. Let's see here if I can get the comments back here. But let me just do this here. I just want to wish everybody a happy May the 4th be with you. This really is for Jay, who's one of our followers, who is a passionate Star Wars fan. But I know a lot of people grew up with Star Wars. That is not the best picture of me, but it's a shirt that my son made for me. And so I just wanted to shout out to anyone who is a Star Wars fan. Happy May the 4th be with you. All right, now let's get back to the show because we have a guest already on stage, and I'm excited to see this person here. Let me just get this chat to, let's see, disappear here and change this to that. It's not moving. Okay, I'm going to take off the chat. All right, there you go. All right, so with that being said, Marcia, thank you for being up on stage and being so patient. I appreciate you, and it's so great to see you. I'm so excited about what's been going on in your life, but please tell us what you came up for first, and the mic is yours.
What's happening, everybody? Let me be brief. When I was reading.
We're doing great. Happy Sunday.
So when I was reading your post, you know what, Felipe? I think a lot of people don't talk about a couple of things. And FYI, Happy Older Americans Month, which goes unnoticed every single year. So next year, I plan on doing like a big event. That's my goal. I'm gonna put it out there so you'll see the post coming. With as far as like careers and stuff, Felipe, you know, I'm trying to transition out. So I'm putting myself strategically in different. I'm on a couple of committees around the city with with the work I want to be aligned with. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now. But at the same time, I keep my skill set relevant, current, updated. But talk about what's going to happen to older Americans who's going to be who are not old enough to retire and get Medicare, but still have to look for work. Just talk to me about that. And what are your thoughts, and Melissa? Thank you.
I don't know where Felipe went, so I'm going to jump in. I think we're in trouble. I'm going to be honest. I think we're in a lot of trouble. Inflation has grown exponentially. The retirement plans that we planned for before don't apply today.
Let's go ahead. My mic's having problems. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think that we are seeing more Americans working until the point of, just making ends meet. There is no retirement plan for so many, and I think that's the problem. How do we offset it? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. We have to have more conversations within our communities. I don't think it's a blanket answer that anybody's going to say yes to. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any kind of leadership anywhere that's just going to go, yeah, let's take care of our people, no questions asked. And that's unfortunate. So I think we have to raise our voices in the right rooms, depending on where you guys are or where we are. That might be local, city, county, state, Senate, might be letters. It might be being on the internet and going global with your concept with the right hashtags. But I really think we're facing something we've never seen before. And then not just the older communities, but I think the ripple of the community just below them, the generation just behind them that typically would offset the challenges, are already facing their own challenges and are also understanding they're not going to retire the way they planned for the last 30, 40 years. And then they're trying to fight AI for jobs. I think we're looking at strategy is going to have to happen, and I don't know who's going to start that mission or where we start individually. That is something I would love to talk about as a group. If you guys have ideas of what's working for you, I would love to hear, but I can just acknowledge I know we're in a pinch right now, and I don't know how to fix it. Felipe?
Yeah, that is definitely something that is very challenging right now. And I think that there's a lot of people out there, and there are a lot of leaders that do see that and are trying to take care of their employees. I mean, I see leaders that are trying to take care of their employees when they have to do make hard decisions like layoffs. You know, some people I've seen take shortcuts and try to do whatever they can to save money and not give any severance or any payout to any of the employees. I've seen others who've gone above and beyond to take care of those employees that they had to lay off because they knew they were human beings and they respected them and they knew that they were going to have a hard road ahead of them. Those are the leaders that have reputations that people will go back and work for them. When you hear about the leaders that shortchanged you, that didn't do the right thing because they wanted to save money on you, those are the leaders that the reputation's going to catch up to them. It already has in many cases, and it's very hard to get rid of that reputation, and they have to work really hard, almost to the other extreme, to show how much they actually do care. And if they're doing it fake, people will see right through that crap. What I will say is that the financial situations of the younger generation and their future, I worry about them, but I also, my son, who's 24, and I'll tell you right now, I was not thinking like this. He sat us down the other day, just like about 5 days ago. He goes, I'm going to ask you all a question, and you don't need to answer this, but I would like to have a conversation with you all about this at some point. How are you financially set for your future? How are you set for your retirement years? Are you going to need help, or are you in a good setting, or do you want help? We want to make sure that we're have an idea of what your future looks like so we can be supportive as possible. And I'm like, I was like, are we dying? I'm like, do you know something that I don't know? I was like, no, we just I want to know about your finances. Seriously, your debt, everything, your income, which traditionally my parents, and I know my friends' parents, never told anybody about their finances. And I think that's an important thing to share and pass on to younger generation, is let them know your successes, but let them know your struggles. let them show things that you're embarrassed about that you're trying to work on changing, because that's what's going to help us. Now, there are financial support out there for people, and people sometimes they know what they need to do. Jason Forehand's book on Transformation Kitchen, one of the topics he tackled is food insecurity. That's a real thing out there. And people are struggling, especially right now with everything happening with the economy, with oil, with inflation, with interest rates. I mean, it's just insane. But I do think that hopefully people are trying to learn from each other. I hope families and communities are coming together to share different tactics, strategies that have helped them so that they can learn from each other. Because that's one thing that AI cannot do, is build community and teach a community to learn from each other. That's something that has to happen at the human level. Marcia, did you have any follow-up questions? Because my mic was having issues earlier on.
Oh, don't worry about it. You always answer my question, but then you didn't answer it, because every time I talk about old Americans, I think y'all try to, and I love y'all to death, but I think y'all try to skirt that under the rug. I'm talking about people our age, maybe like the last part of the Generation Z is up until about 64ish. And to your point, Felipe, with the food insecurity, and I understand that more than you know, outside of workforce development, which I do. I am on several committees, and DC is talking about eradicating the Food Policy Council, which has been Caroline and her team have been very instrumental into shifting resources so people can eat that part. So I'm talking about old Americans, Felipe
Well, well,
and Melissa.
and that's a really important point. I'm glad you clarified that, because one of the things that I think is so important with older Americans, people, I'm saying 55 and older. Let's just say 55 to 75,
Mm-hmm.
85. That is such a, it can be a very strong, great stage, and it can be a very fragile stage. Because when people start getting older, their job starts getting questioned, their retirement gets closer. They start questioning, did I save enough for retirement? Most people didn't. Um, some people don't know what to do with the retirement that they had in their job. Oh, I have a 401k for my job. Did anyone tell you how to manage it throughout your life, to put it in less riskier stocks as you get older? There's things in place now that help you with that, where there are age appropriate stocks, or basically financial programs set up for 401ks, that as you change and get older in your life, your financial investments go into less riskier stocks.
Okay, but I gotta just say out loud, you're speaking a language that my mother would have never had the time for. She was a waitress. So while I, sorry, while I hear what you're saying, we really have to stop pretending everybody wore a suit and had a 401k plan and a retirement. Those construction workers may not have,
No,
right? And
absolutely. No,
so,
I'm getting
and
to
that,
that.
hold on. Before we keep giving financial advice, I think Marcia's question is more than this. And I think that's where her frustration in her voice comes from. We're not answering the question, we're giving blanket advice. How do we feed the Americans who did not plan, who can't go back to a 401k, that have nothing in their kitty and no family? Because those are the ones struggling, is what I'm hearing. And I could be wrong, Marcia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that what you're asking?
Not only that, Melissa, but you know what? And let's talk about the other elephant in the room. And yes, and I'm going to move the needle today on purpose. What about the people, like you said, the older people, younger people too? But let me talk about older people. What about the people that are not literate? What about the people that cannot read and comprehend? I mean, let me give you a quick example. Snap just changed their work requirements as of Friday, May 1st. So from ages 18 through 64, if you're able to work or do volunteer work, you have to go out here and participate in the activity, or you don't get benefits. So I was having a conversation with a colleague on Friday, and she said, Miss Marcia, a lot of people didn't understand that affected them because they didn't know how to read. That part. You know what? It's a lot. And what about people that was working at a job for 20, 30, 40 years? Back in the day, all it was filling out a paper application and a handshake, and you were working. What about the people that have to really reinvent themselves totally? Totally. A keyword, a password, a upload, smartphones. Hell, sometimes these smartphones, we smart, but sometimes these phones get on our nerve. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what, and Melissa, you are spot on about the average people who don't have a 401k. People are just, let's not even it goes further than that. Not even talking about from paycheck to paycheck. Some people are living from day to day. day to day. And like you said, with the gas, the rents, and all of that. And that's why that's the question that I wanted y'all to answer as far as like reskilling. And everybody is not prepared to be reskilled to start over. Go ahead. Thank you.
Right. So, and thank you both for sharing those inputs. So, what I was wanted to finish saying was this: with the people that have been in the workforce, there's a lot of people that have been in the workforce that haven't gained monies that they were told, oh, put in your money in your 401k, and they don't know what to do with it. People need support at that level. But then you have the people, like you said, that are in jobs that didn't offer benefits, that were lifelong careers in one job and lived it hard and worked well and did it proudly, but they don't have a retirement fund. Or how about the people that have disabilities and had to stop working? Or how about the unhoused that aren't working at all? There's so many people in so many different stages of financial need. And like you said, some people are day to day, some people are paycheck to paycheck. Guess what? Some people day to day might be that neighbor in that house next door to you that they have a house, but guess what? They're going under and we don't know what's happening. And so, what I've seen is the people that have those privileges, that knowledge, I put a lot of expectation on them. What are they doing to go back and help out those communities that maybe they came from, that maybe they see how much they're struggling, and what are they doing to give back and help? Because that's where offering lessons on how to try to get a job that they have the skills for, or how show them how they can get certain skills to get the job that they want to get, or maybe find a way to help them learn about all the money out there that might help them through the government, whether it's grants or whatever it might be that they can apply for. There's so many resources that I don't know about, that so many people don't know about, but there's people out there that do. And to me, that is the biggest opportunity for all of us, is to create those opportunities, support those opportunities, take leadership and lead by example in those opportunities. And I think that's where having communities where you have, like Marcia, you have an amazing community where I know that you all are strong together. You go out there, you interact with them, and you all give back to each other. But do you have any specific question or example that you wanted to throw out there? Because I love these questions that you're doing, and I love how you're just
Well,
pushing
you
the
know
needle.
what, and let me tell you something. So, what's today? Today is the third Wednesday. We are going down to the city council. If I don't go, I'm definitely going to testify on Zoom because I signed up. Like I said, the mayor wants to get rid of the food policy council. So, what the food policy council was doing, Felipe, and what everybody's doing as a community, all my honorary nieces and nephews, they putting a post out. They saying, come up, and they're farmers. I have a lot of nieces and nephews that actually farm for a living. So they're actually tackling the food insecurity issues. But thanks to the Food Policy Council, Caroline was able to shift resources to where it was needed, so they can get funding, so they can work at farmers market, so the seniors, low income seniors and low income people, they have a program called Produce Plus. It runs from June through the end of November, and everybody gets $40 a month. So you can go to all the farmers markets. And what the Food Policy Council helped do in Fresh Farms, they are actually putting the farmers markets in communities where there's food apartheid, Felipe. And to your point about grants, a lot of people are still working, but baby, Cheeto done got rid of a lot of these a lot of these programs. So people have to do more with less. And then, like you said, Felipe, this is when community collaboration and connection is so important, because you have to redefine how you're going to get funding to fund these programs, so we can continue to help our residents. And I'm gonna get off the platform. Thank y'all so
Oh,
much.
yeah, don't go anywhere yet. Don't leave, because two things. One, you totally set the example right there. Going to Congress and, hey, Bill, can you mute your mic? I'm getting a little feedback. But Marcia, you going up there and saying, if I can't go there in person, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show up via Zoom. And that's the kind of leadership, stop telling other people that they need to do something if you're not doing anything. What are you doing? And it doesn't mean that if you can't do what Marcia is doing, what else can you do? Can you show up via Zoom virtually? We all have to make impact the way that we're able to. We all can't do the same thing, but we all can do something. And I think that's, go ahead.
I just want to say, guys, if you can't donate time, donate a couple of cans of food, donate a box of instant potatoes. Do your part somehow. But the truth is, there are so many community members around you who were only taught to the 8th grade. They've never learned tech. We know 1 in 5 Americans has a criminal background. Some of that is tied to a judicial system where they get put away and hidden from technology and advancements for months and years. And then they get put out on the streets with very little support, very high expectations, and they're supposed to figure it out. And I got to give 2 seconds. My uncle came out of prison after 17 years and cried at a McDonald's because the screen moved too fast for him to order, and he didn't understand the screen moving. And he just got overwhelmed and got back on the bus and didn't eat for 2 days because he couldn't find a place that didn't have a moving screen. That is something that we don't fathom as humans who get to go in and out of life every day normally. And that's one experience. There's so many others that we can talk about, but just please maintain perspective and help where you can.
Absolutely. And, there are things out there. Find out what your skill is and go out there and help. Mine was, early on, there's a place called the Arlington Resource Center here in Virginia. I've gone there throughout my career on a regular basis because they have set up their opportunities for people to learn how to use the computer, how to do the resume, how to interview, and they have different classes, and they welcome any volunteer that can come in there to help out with these skills. And it's one of those things where you realize how many people need this help. They didn't get the opportunities that others did. So look for them in your neighborhood because they're there. Now, real quick, and Bill is in the green room. But before we bring Bill back, I want to highlight Marcia with one other thing. Because last night, I don't know, and this, I know a lot of you may not be fans of SNL, Saturday Night Live. Some of you may be fans of it. But I was watching Saturday Night Live last night, and I was getting tired, and it was going to a commercial. And this is what I saw. Now, mind you, when I saw this, when you're in the grocery store and you hear someone's voice and you're like, I know that voice. Well, I kind of had that kind of moment. I'm like, is my phone on? I know that voice. Why do I know that voice? That sounds like Marcia, I said. So check this out.
I haven't slept with an alarm since I was a teenager. I naturally wake up. I am Marcia Lee, and I live in Ward 5, D.C. I always look forward to seeing my regulars in the a.m. And I love the fact that a lot of them grew up here.
Do you like Tony's jokes?
He I see the authenticity, and that's not scripted. I'm a feeler, so I feel all of that.
We work for you.
You ain't lying.
That is the coolest thing I've seen. We're frozen here, but I just had to say that out loud. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, Marcia.
That was amazing. I mean, I was so proud of you. And for any of you who don't realize that, so our local NBC news crew and anchors, and they brought Marcia into the studio. They said that she was a natural, which you can tell. She does a natural. When I showed it to my wife, and she's like, I didn't know that Marcia worked for NBC News. Like, no. She was visiting the studio. And she's like, oh, she looks like she's part of the team. I'm like, no, she was just, they were highlighting her as a community member. And so I love that. And congratulations. Anyone who ever doubted how impactful Marcia is in the DC community, I think that's added a little bit of validation to you. So kudos to you for that. And thank you for leading by example.
Thank you, my friend. And then for those who live in the DC area, I'm Felicia. I'm gonna start posting you stuff. I'm also a part of the DC telehealth for dermatology. They do dermatology screenings the third Monday of every month in Ward 7. But for any resident, who doesn't have insurance, they do. And it's run by my colleague Dr. Adam Freeman and his staff and his volunteers, medical student volunteers, and they do skincare screenings, nutrition advice. Really, really dope. It's no cost. And Felipe, I'll send you the flyer for the event they're having on Saturday. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm excited, and I'm going to be stalking you because you're just becoming famous in the DC area, my friend. So it's an honor to know somebody that's just so well regarded. So
thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right. Well, now we have our next guest. Melissa, do you want to introduce our next guest? And feel free to join us up on stage. I'm going to put the link in the chat while Melissa is introducing Bill to come up on stage and ask us anything. Over to you, Melissa.
You know, I love how you introduce him and then tell me to introduce him. William Rochelle, welcome to the stage. He does You live, guys. You got to go check him out if you're not following him. I think he's fabulous, and I always love he has new glasses almost every time. I don't know what you're up to, but what brought you to the stage, Bill?
First of all, I don't know why he introduces me and then tells you to introduce me either. It's very funny. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. So something happens. When I'm on Restream, my phone gets really hot, and then sometimes it comes up really staticky. Only on this, or sorry, yeah, Restream. So I wanted to just say that I love what you said, Melissa. Was it Marcia?
Yes.
Um, and I love what she was talking about. And the first thing that I'm going to say is, we talk about uh, food banks and resources and all this other stuff, which is great. But I think what we really need to do is to see our neighbors, to see them, whether they are doing always done well or not. Because right now we're in a system that we've never seen before, and navigating it is quite intriguing. It's a mystery, um, but what I will say is that every day you need to do the best that you can. Come up with. Someone told me once, commit to 10 things a day. Open up your windows, clean your house, um, get a bag of Skittles. Do the things that make you happy, the things that you can control when your life is out of control. And what I've been focusing on every night is releasing. And what that means for me is that I release everything that entered my orbit that didn't serve me for that day. And I go to sleep with a really clean, fresh mind. And it's been working because I've been able to manage the challenges without spinning out. What I think that we can do is once we stop telling people where else to go and start telling people I can help, or let me guide you, or let me join as an advocate for you, that changes everything. It's really hard right now being out here on your own, trying to reinvent yourself, but we're doing it. But everyone can do more. And I just think that the ones that are doing it well need to recognize that it can hit you at any time and show up today for the ones who aren't. Because this is not a individual crisis. This is a national crisis.
I love what you said. I really think it comes back to reach back, pull forward. It's something I say often. And truthfully, it's always the people who are doing the best for so long that get forgotten. We've talked about that too as leaders. You just look like you got it together, and then all of a sudden you don't. And who knows? Does anybody know? And I think that's kind of what happened to community. It seemed like we had it together. I remember being a kid whose neighbors would yell at me if I did something wrong. They'd be like, "Hey, get out of that tree," or whatever. The whole neighborhood watched everybody. Now you don't even know if anybody's outside. The windows are closed. We're in our televisions. We're in our phones. There used to be more community in person, and I think the pandemic really affected it. But I also see a lot of people coming out of that now, getting on the ground, meeting people again where they need to be met. And I think that's the only way forward. I think if you guys know cool people, if you know people who can get resources to be made available for these things, reach out to them. If you don't have them, figure out who does grants and reach out to those people. If you know friends in a nonprofit, they probably have 57 resources they forgot they even knew about. But the truth is, it's coming together, talking about it. And then the resources sometimes have limitations. There's only so many times you can visit some places for help before they
Absolutely.
ban you. And I think people who go, oh, well, there's resources for that. That's cool. But what happens if your situation lasts beyond the 3 months that usually it will sustain you, or the one-time payment is what I grew up around. They would do a one-time payment for you on a
Yep.
bill, and then you couldn't come back for 12 months. That was the Arizona kind of structure. And so,
And you know what, Melissa? I'm sad that I even know that.
right. And I'm sad more people don't know that those limitations exist, because what happens if Grandma Susie needs those resources more than once in a year and grandma
Yep.
doesn't, have other resources? And so you look at this situation right now, 1 in 7 people are financing their groceries. That's a
Mm-hmm.
stat that I read not too long ago. Guys, 1 in 7 people on your timeline, anywhere you're playing today, are financing their groceries, statistically speaking. Felipe, what does that bring up for you? Like that kind of staggering statistic, when we know it's a huge problem. And that's the financing, the people who can actually qualify to do that. What are your
So the
thoughts?
static is starting to happen on my phone. Can you guys hear it? Because I'm about to.
Yep. Mute
All
it,
right. So
or yeah.
let me just finish this real quick because my phone's getting hot. The other thing that I'm going to say is when don't ask people how they're doing if you don't want to know. So on Friday, my cousin said, "Hey, cousin, how are you doing? Hope all is well." And I said, "Well, currently I'm fighting for. I was actually at the Department of Health fighting to get my insurance because I don't have any. My home's in foreclosure. My car is being repossessed." And he never responded. So I waited until the end of the day and I said, "You asked how I was doing, and I told you, and there were crickets." And his response was, "What was I supposed to say?" And the thing to say is, "Damn," or "Wow," or anything. But to have no response to someone that just told you that, and I wouldn't have told him that had I not been sitting at the Department of Health at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I believe that we should also tell people what we need and allow people to step up, because sometimes you're in your giving season and sometimes you're in your receiving season.
That's so important. Felipe, what are your thoughts on that?
No, and I love what you shared there, Bill. And it's one of those things where there's so many people. I mean, look, between inflation, gases, housing, food prices, everything, it's nothing's going down, everything's going up. And the only thing that comes to mind right now is, how do we stop the bleeding? One of those ways is by passing on that knowledge to each other, to our younger generations, so that they don't repeat the mistakes that we made, that they learn from some of the warning signs that we learned from. Um, there's so much power in education. There's so much power in community. I keep on going to Jason Forehand's book, teaching people how to build a transformation kitchen so that they can use food and not waste it. Find ways to maximize the food for the community, not just one person. Reduce waste. These are things that carry us through the difficult times. These are lessons that people don't want to learn, but we need to know. And for me, I'm a big believer that if you have that knowledge, you have that experience, it's up to you to help pass it down, not just to your family, but to the community. That's why I think a lot of companies have gone away from doing a lot more of a social impact work, volunteering. There's got to be more of that. There's got to be more of that, because that's impactful when companies do that for free. That's one thing that not just a leader, but a whole organization can do so much to help out those that are struggling. And the reality is that people are struggling silently. I mean, you may have known somebody that was doing well off, like y'all mentioned, but now they're unhoused. I mean, how many famous actors that were rich as could be do you see? Oh, where are they now? you know, and then you see them doing horrible. Every lottery winner, if you look at the lottery winner stats, it's like in the 90s of them are bankrupt, in jail, or dead. of people who've won like multi-million-dollar lotteries. There's so much about financial education that I wish I had learned when I was younger. My father was a financial wizard, and he passed on so much to us about culture, respect, business, but he did not teach us about his financial knowledge, and that was something that we missed out on. So that's where my 2 cents are there about this, because this is something we could do a whole show on just this topic alone, and maybe we should. Honestly, I'd love to have Marcia as part of it. But Marcia, you came back up on stage. I want to give you a chance to ask anything else or share anything else you wanted to share.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just enjoying. Go ahead.
All right, beautiful. All right, good. All right, well then let's go to Gregory. Gregory Liverpool. All right, we do have a hard stop at noon, so I'm just letting everyone know ahead of time.
I
So
know,
if
I
anybody-
know, I know.
No, not just for you, Gregory. Not just for you. For anyone that wanted to come up, now's your last
Okay.
chance to come up, because if after this, we're not going to have anybody else come up. But Gregory, great to have you up here. Like the picture. Over to you, my friend.
Yeah, so this is basically speak now or forever hold your peace type of moment here. So, or a call in words of NFL red zone, the witching hour. So, I put in the comments. I agree with everything that William said, and it's basically on an international type of situation here. I will give you the Canadian viewpoint. We just had a spring economical statement. Debt as far as the eye can see, basically. And there's been a lot of cost of living type of surveys and analysis that would literally make you teary-eyed, to the point that 1 in 10 Canadians are living below the poverty line. 1/3 of Canadians are purchasing groceries by way of dipping into their savings in Canada. We have basically, I will say, according to a political poll by Angus Reid, suggests that 67%, or as high as 67% of Canadians who are polled, that the economy is going in the wrong direction. And that's why it's basically a international type of crisis per se. And I'm thinking in terms of leadership. I am basically, from this point forward, or starting to enact it a year ago, I'm looking for leaders who basically lead by action, not by basically talking and doing the dilute talking points that says, yes, we'll do this, well, yes, we'll do that. But I'm looking for actionable results and impactful results, because as a person who is neurodiverse, and there's a person who has a disability in the comments, and he basically made some comments that I totally agree, that that people who are disabled can get basically taken somewhat advantage of, and or being bullied in a workplace scenario or a personal scenario, that needs to be talked and called out at that particular juncture in time. But we basically let it pass and let it go in a laissez-faire type of mentality, and that type of thing. And that's the type of stuff that could basically destroy uh, a person's career who's already is marginalized and stigmatized uh, from the get-go, without any type of action, quantitative type of launching of their activity per se and stuff. And we need to hear these marginalizational type of stories, but people do not want to hear them, because it basically makes their leadership style or leadership quantity style look terribly wrong, or not wrong, but not in a good frame of light. And it basically uh makes to check their own imposter syndrome type of hero echo and echo chamber and their own ego status per se. Because for example, the reason why I could say this, because within my association, which is CPHR Manitoba, which is on the same parallel as a state-run SHRM type of situation, they have installed a new committee called the called a new committee that has the focal point of basically engaging current and future members to look at the CPHR designation. And I looked at it basically from a view of 32,000 feet, that there is basically, I will say, people's voices is not being heard internally within the association. The association is good externally in the eyes of public opinion, but internally it has some foundational type of structure deficiencies. It has, I'll say, a sportscaster, Tim McAuliffe, on Sportsnet saying that it has some warts per se. And I think that a lot of people in leadership roles needs to, I will say in the words of John Cena, former WWE superstar, needs to have their attitude adjusted. And we just lost Felipe. Sorry about that. Oh, he's back right there. So I will stop there because it's 7 minutes to wrap up, and I wait comments on my share du jour. So thank you. And go, I will say go for Laura, go Orlando Magic, go Toronto Raptors, and go Tampa Bay Lightning today.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Gregory. You shared a lot of great information there and stats, and those are very eye-opening stats, especially. And thank you for sharing it for Canada, because a lot of stuff we shared is U.S. stats here, and it's always helpful to know what's going on over there as well. And it just goes to show you that this is, like you said earlier, an international problem, not just a national problem. And one of the things that I think is so important when you talked about people that are struggling, whether it's because they have a disability, they're neurodiverse, they've had career challenges. That's one of the things why I think this whole gig economy and gig works and side jobs have become so important, because it's tapping into people's skills. And I think now more than ever, people need to be looked at for what they bring to the table and the skills they have, not just a title, not just a job, but their whole self, because there's so much value to people. And when we start seeing them as individuals and start tapping into who they are, it's amazing what you learn about people, whether it's in the workplace.
Sorry to interrupt you, Felipe. Read Tom's comment. Read Tom's Cohen's comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay. And so I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. With trying to make sure that we take care of people that I'm sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Let me go to Tom's comment here. Canadians are suffering beyond history. Gregory's almost 10%. Almost 10% are using food banks, and it's climbing. Jobs are given to immigrants over Canadians due to a bonus offered by our government to businesses that cover half of the company's wages if they hire immigrants. Well, there's definitely a lot of, we're not going to get into a whole political discussion here, obviously, but there's definitely a lot of challenges and issues happening in the world right now. And we want to make sure that we are doing what we can do to help. And the reality is that with so much happening, going back to the comment I was making about the gig work, the skills that we all have, we've got to promote those things, because nowadays people are being looked at for the skills they have. They're not looking for the same old person that they hired 10 years ago. They're looking for someone different.
I don't know what's going on with your microphone, Felipe. I think he was about to say Houston. So let me just say this, guys. What's coming up for me listening in is be
Sorry
the
about that. Can you hear
change.
me?
Hold on. Yep. Hold on. I'm in the middle of a thought now. So be the change you wish to see. That's really where we're going to leave this. Put a pin in it, because We can point fingers. We can blame whoever we want. And I'm going to say it's like all sides can blame other sides. I don't care. I really don't. My takeaway is the Venn diagram. We meet in the middle. Everybody should be a little different on their edges, but in the center, we have to be the change. If you don't have that voice in the room, be the voice in the room. If the room's not allowing your voice to rise, get a different room. Start your own room. Invite others in who think that there should be a voice behind the idea you have. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but there's little libraries in neighborhoods that Felipe is leaving books in because somebody decided to put a box up in their front yard and say, hey, here's some extra books I don't want. Take them at your leisure. Share them, donate them. The food banks, that was an idea somebody had to make it locally happen. None of those existed before some human decided we needed that thing. And every business that funds that, there's some human behind there cutting the checks. And we can have the conversations that make it happen. It's one conversation that will change anybody's life. We have to choose what we're talking about, how we talk about it, what the words do to get us into action. Because, like Gregory said, I'm a big fan of action too, but you have to document your wants. You have to get clear on your ask. You have to get in the room and have it. And if it's not hosting you, you host the room. Felipe?
All right, so we're going to wrap up here because I have 3 minutes. Gregory, I'm going to carefully put you over into the green room. Don't trip as you go over there. Thank you for joining us. And just to wrap up this whole thing, and following up with what Melissa said, we have to fight for ourselves. We want to see a change. What are we doing about it? We cannot wait for other people to make change for us. So it really is up to you. I love the quote of change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. And you got to put yourself out there. You got to try things. You are struggling with something. You need to learn something. You need to be more knowledgeable at something. We have more resources than we ever have. So don't wait for someone to do it for you. You've got a lot of experience. You can do it. And the one thing I will say is go out there and make sure I know a lot of things have changed with food stamps and Medicaid and Medicare and stuff like that, but there's still things here in the US like healthcare.gov, Medicaid still exists, but community health centers, they provide sliding scale pricing on things for like dental, mental health, primary care. There's resources out there. We just need to share them, look for them, and be your best resource. All right. And don't forget that you have a community out there that cares. So with that being said, I just want to remind people that we will be back here in 2 weeks for another episode of Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. It has been a pleasure to have you all come up here and really just ask some really hard, relevant questions that need to be discussed. And I think we need to do this again, Melissa, because it definitely brought up some great conversation. And we may even want to tackle this one conversation specifically that we had earlier with Marcia.
I think we're always open to anything you guys want to talk about. So let us know. You know what, though, Felipe, I'm going to tell you, it's time to wish your daughter happy birthday.
It is. So I'm going to get ready to leave. But do you have anything coming up you want to share, Melissa, real quick?
You know, guys, I'm back on Saturday. I'll be posting it later today with coffee chats. I am going to be relaxing myself, but really just spend time with your family. Spend time doing the things you enjoy. I'm going to play in my plants. I'm going to clean my house. I'm going to watch a bunch of junk television. It's going to be a great day. I hope you guys find something fun to do. Felipe, thank you for posting the YouTube and all of that. Guys, check out the website, Document Then Act, and then come back. Tell us what you want us to talk about.
All right, guys. Thank you again for a great show. Convenient Consulting QR code is up there. And if you want to check out our past episodes, go to my YouTube page and give me a subscribe there. You can also see that video of the paella from Transformation Kitchen. And as always, just want to thank everyone. And don't forget, have a great Monday, and may the 4th be with you. And with that being said, I want to wish everyone a happy rest of your Sunday. Go out there, spend time with your family. I'm going to go celebrate my daughter's birthday. And as always, remember, be confident in what you know because you have a lot of experience. Be curious about what you don't know and go learn it. Be grateful for what you have because you have more than others. Be compassionate to yourself because you are tenacious and you've got this. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Adios.
Bye.
In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength,